I've never met a woman who said to me, I never want to get married.
Are you looking for a marriage?
At some point, yes. As of right now, I don't have a timetable on that because I like to really get to know a woman deeper. I feel like marriage is by far one of the most important choices you'll make in your life. So I never like to say, in 2 years, I got to be married. I'm putting myself against the wall. I just like to let the universe.
With shows like this, you don't have to wonder why it takes the men that I invite to my Shabbat dinners 2 weeks to get back to me and the women about 10 minutes. We're living in a society that encourages people to hit the pause button on their life. Let's have a cosmic conversation about dating. So I set up a lot of people. Thank God a lot of them get married and have something I do in my spare time. I recently set this guy up with this girl and I checked back with him about a week later and I said, I thought you were interested in my friend. It looks like you haven't reached out to her. Silent. I happened to see a little video.
Are you looking for a marriage?
At least 2 years before we start living together, because it's 2 years, that's how you get to know someone. And then once you live with them for like a year or two, then you can decide, okay, should I get married or not? And all I can think about is Jewish dating laws when you're more observant, which is that you get to know someone within 6 months. That's the longest once you're over a certain age. Like, if you're not 21 and dating and only need 3 dates or, a few weeks to get to know someone, which I also still think is not always the best thing, but 6 months is tops. Why? Because you're not sleeping together on the dates. You're not into the movies for every date. You are sitting together. You're talking about your goals, which you already have before you go out. You don't think, well, let me see how I like the person. And then if I like them, then 2 years, I don't know what this math is, but the math isn't mathing. You are ready to get married. You start dating. If you're not ready to get married, don't date. You're just going to be breaking a lot of hearts. This rabbi once said to me, I said to him, you guys get married within 6 months? That's insane. That just doesn't sound right. This is like 30 years ago when I started learning about it. And he said, well, let me ask you this, Barb. He said, does it help you to play the field, really get to know all these people by sleeping with them? Does that really help a person? And I thought about it and I was like, I guess he's right. And he said, don't you trust God or the force or the Schwartz or whatever, the universe enough that if you see someone that you really like, you have the same goals, same values, and you're attracted to them, and you get along and you do hikes together when you're, sweating and haven't eaten and you're feeling kind of nudgy. If you're doing things that are active on dates and you're actually talking about the most important things, and you trust your gut that this person keeps checking off a lot of the boxes, not maybe all of them because no one's perfect, but the majority of the boxes are checked, and you're attracted and you have the same goals and values, wouldn't you assume that they're a good partner? And I said, yeah. He goes, then why do you need more than 6 months to date somebody? Otherwise, you're probably just sleeping with someone and focusing on all the romance, which is just the icing on the cake and is not the most important thing. Yes, you should be attracted. Yes, you should have chemistry, 100%. But if you have all that, don't just sleep around. Actually get to know them and ask them really important questions. Spend your time as though you were already married, talking at the dinner table about what the most important things are. And then once you get married, date. Just enjoy each other and keep having those really important conversations. I thought, oh my gosh, that is so good.